Hello and welcome to this tutorial where I'm going to show you how you can create a waterfall diagram in Excel. So let's directly start, and let's say here in this example we have a revenue of a company. So let's take the act value, which is for instance 50 million US dollars, and then we have a plan value, and between we want to show in our waterfall diagram the different months. So let's start here with January, and then we can pull it down to December. And then we can generate random data with the rand formula function. You can see it returns a random number greater than or equal to 0 and less than 1. And we can multiply it with 1000 to generate here random numbers. And you can see whenever I give in this formula, we generate new data. And of course, we also want to have some minus values. So I can just add here a minus for those values. And that's actually it. And there we have a dynamic function. So that means whenever I press F2 in order to go to the cell and refresh it by pressing enter, then I receive new data. Therefore, I want to copy it and insert it here as values. And in order to receive here our final sum, our plan value, then we can just put the sum of it. And as you can see, we have here a result of 50.7 million. So we can also increase it, or let's say this value should be a little bit smaller, and this one as well. And then we have here a higher value. Then we can start to accumulate our values. Let's calculate here the accumulated values. So we start here with the act value. Then we have our act value plus our January value. And then we can apply it for the rest. Then you can also press Ctrl and 1 in order to format here this cell, because here we want to fill it with a pattern style in order to make sure that here we do not want to insert any data. Then we can say what is the bottom of our stacked column chart, which is in the end our waterfall diagram. Then we can also say that we do not have any values here and also here. And then we can say what is at the bottom. Therefore, I can use an if function, so I can check whether a condition is met or not. And I can check here if this value with our monthly revenue is greater than 0. If it is like that, then I want to take here the before value, and otherwise I want to take here the accumulated value, and then I can apply it for the rest. Let's make it like this. You can also see here with the formula text function also the syntax again. So what I made is just to check whether here the value in C4, so that means here for our monthly revenue, is bigger than 0. And if it is like that, then I take here the before value, so my act value, and then if it is not like that, if the January value is smaller than 0, then I take here the accumulated value. So this is the bottom area of our waterfall diagram, and this bottom area is also invisible. So let's say we have now our increasing part. Of course, we do not have here our end, and then we also have, of course, a decreasing part. And then you can also format it like this as well. And for the increasing part, I also check with an if function if my value in C4, so the January value, is greater than 0. And if it is like that, then I'm gonna take this value, because then we have an increasing value, and otherwise I will not show any value, and I can say it should be 0. But in order to make sure that we have the value correct visualized in our diagram, we shouldn't use 0 as numerical number. We should use an NA value just to make sure that we have no values here in our data if it is a minus value. And then I can adapt it like this, and then you can also see here, for instance, I have an NA not available value, and also here NA, and here as well, and here also. This is good, and then we can apply it also for our decreasing values with an if function as well. So I can also check here whether this is smaller than 0. If it is like that, then I want to show this value, and otherwise I also show an NA value. We can apply it also for the rest. And then in the end, I only want to show the part which is outside. And this is just my initial revenue, so the act revenue, and then I also want to show my plan revenue. And between, I do not want to show any data, so I can also make this gray pattern style here in order to make sure that I do not have any values here. So we already have everything we need for our diagram. So then we can start to create our visualization, our waterfall diagram. You can select everything here, so beginning with the first data series, and then you can press Ctrl Q in order to create here a diagram. And then you can also go into more at charts, as you can see here, and then you can go into all charts and can select a stacked column chart. But there's also another opportunity. You can also go to Insert, and there you can also go to the recommended charts, or here directly to the 2D charts like clustered or stacked column chart. I want to select here a stacked column chart like this, and then I can also press the Alt key, and then as you can see, I can position my diagram along the grid lines, and then I already have here my base for the waterfall diagram. I can also change here the title, so it should be a waterfall diagram, and then I already see my act value and my plan value, and between I want to show now here, like in the waterfall charts, of course, the increasing months and decreasing months, so the movement. And in order to do so, I can also press here a right click on the chart, select a data, and want to add new data series. In order to do so, I can say in this dialog I want to add a new data series. First of all, I want to select the series name, so I can take here the bottom. So let's say the series values are those values. I can say this is okay. And this is just a help. So we understand this just as a help for our diagram. So that means those orange bars we do not actually need. So we can make a right click and say the filament that we want to show it invisible, so no fill. And then I can also add here with a right click again, select a data, the missing data series. So we can press add again. And I can say here the series name is the increasing part. Then I can select the increasing values, and I can do the same with add and a series name decreasing, the decreasing numbers, also select it, press OK, and then we can press OK again. And as you can see, I already have here my waterfall diagram. I want to see now the movements or the values between, so the months. First of all, I have to format it appropriately, so I can select data again. In order to say here on the horizontal axis, I want to show here the months. So starting with the act value to the plan value, and between we have our months. And I can press OK. So this is formatted correctly now. But what you can see here that those movements, so the increasing and decreasing numbers, are pretty small, and therefore you can make a right click on the axis here on the left, format axis, and then we can see here that we can edit it. You can also pull it into the middle of it, and then I can say here the minimum shouldn't be minus 10,000, it should be, for instance, 45,000. Then I can press OK, as you can see here. Or I can even say it should be 49,000. This would be possible as well. Yes, and then we can say that we want to visualize the increasing part in green. So we say here this should be a light green. And then we have our bars here in light green. But there's still one important question. Where is our data series with the decreasing numbers? Well, what we can see here is that we said if it is smaller than 0, then we want to take this value. Otherwise, we want to show an NA value. And for those decreasing numbers, we can see the values actually. But the problem for our diagram is here that the values are in minus. So we can change that just by saying here we also insert here a minus value. And then we can adapt it for the other values like this, and then our values are appearing also in our diagram. Of course, those are the decreasing numbers. Then we can say those should be filled in a dark red. And in the end, we can also say with a right click, format data series, that we want to have a smaller gap width. So we can say this shouldn't be 150%, but should be 50%, for instance, or it should be even 0%. And then you can see that we have a better visualization. You can also change the grid lines. So you can say here that the grid lines shouldn't be horizontal, it should be vertical, or like this. And then you can also add a border outline and make it in black like this or like that. And then also we can apply it here. And you can also say that this should be in a dark blue. And you can also add data labels like this. Of course, we should take here another font color like this. And then you can also show here the data labels. This should be possible also here. And then also here we can say this should be illustrated in white. And as you can see, we already have here a quite professional waterfall diagram showing the deviations and how we can reach our target or plan value of our revenue with the months between.